Contestant number 4, Graham Johns, dating pool. Dating pool, Graham Johns.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. I love my wife. I really do. And I wouldn't want to lose her for anything. For a lot of reasons. Not the least of which is, I would not want to go back into the dating pool for anything. I know sometimes the thought of dating again has a certain appeal to it, but to ground myself, all I have to do is reflect back to my sophomore year in college. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the most demoralizing, depressing experience of my life. I had dated the same girl for about 2 years. We broke up. I went back that year. I was all excited. I was going to play the field. The field won. As Norm said on Cheers, it was a dog-eat-dog world out there, and I was wearing milk-bone underwear. I was asking girls out 7, 10, 15 days in advance and getting turned down. I was asking out 6, 7, 8 different girls before one would finally, mercifully say yes. I was physically ill. My digestive system was in a state of uproar, and I will tell you openly and without shame, I turned to the bottle to find enough courage to ask out just one more girl. I don't know what was worse, the fear of rejection, rejection itself, or not knowing what to say after I was rejected. I had no idea that girls could turn guys down so many different ways. My rejections ran the gamut from the mild, I'm sorry I already have a date, I'm sorry I already have plans, to I'm washing my hair, my father's having surgery this weekend. 6 girls always said, we're going to Beth's grandmother's house this weekend. I guess they wanted to go out with guys in a different fraternity. One girl just said, no thank you. How do you respond to that? But here was the killer. Now this is the football schedule. And on September the 8th it says, open. Okay, no team loses on an open day, do they? I did. I lost to an open date. I call up this girl, Helen Williams. I say, Helen, would you like to go out on Saturday night? She says, well, I have a date with Steve Powell on Friday night, and I'm leaving Saturday night open in case he asks me out again. Things got so bad, I decided to just start writing down all of my rejections in a journal. Then I started to share my journal with some friends. And they said, well, you should have said this, you should have said that. I said, well, that's all well and good, but I didn't think of it in time. I wasn't in Toastmasters that early in life. I wasn't used to table topics. I wasn't very quick on my feet. But I started to write down some of what they said, too. You know, I thought, if you can just save face, come out of this thing with something, some witty, clever response, it'd be okay. Pretty soon my journal filled up. So I decided to transfer it to a piece of poster board. So down to the left-hand side, I've got every possible rejection that a girl can give a guy. And down the right-hand side, I've got some witty, clever response. Okay? I am ready. Now, about that same time, a group of us were talking one night, and this one guy said, well, I asked Nancy Easley out for this Saturday night. She said she's already got a date. And my friend Pete Burns stands up and leaves the room. And I said, Pete, where are you going? He said, I'm going to go ask Nancy Easley out. I said, why? He just said she had a date. He said, well, I know, but I figure that way I'll get my name in the hat. I said, well, there's a strategy. There's a plan. As fate would have it, less than a week later, this freshman boy, Bill, comes walking through the house. I said, Bill, do you have a date for the dance Saturday night? He says, no. I asked out Kay Kraft, but she's already got a date. Well, I lit up then. I thought, I'm going to do it. I'm going to call her up. care. I know I'm going to get turned down. It doesn't matter. I am prepared for anything. I've got my list. I'm sorry, I already have plans. Well, I was hoping those plans would include me. I have to wash my hair. Well, it also happens I'm studying to be a beautician. I would love to wash my hair. My father's having surgery. I would love to just sit with you in the waiting room and hold your hand. I have a date with Steve Powell on Friday night, and I'm holding Saturday night open in case he asks me out again. Well, I just talked to Steve Powell, and I know he's got other plans for Saturday night. We're going to Best Grandmother's house. What a coincidence! I wanted to take you to Best Grandmother's house. So I'm getting ready to call Kate wrapped up. Now I have to tell you, she had a nickname. It was called Ooh Wow because she prefaced everything she said with Ooh Wow. So I get ready to make the call. Now I've got 4 or 5 guys standing beside me. What I forgot to tell you, on my poster board I had pasted to the wall next to the telephone on the 2nd floor of our fraternity house so that we could all use the cheat sheet. And I encourage guys to add this as the case may be. So these 4 or 5 guys can't wait to see how I'm going to get rejected and how I'm going to respond. So I call her up, I ask her out, and she goes, ooh, wow. It sounds like fun. Now I'm expecting, but I've got plans, I've got a date, Best Grandmothers, you know. Nothing came. And I waited, and I waited, and I began to realize she's not saying no. She's saying yes. And I didn't know what to say. I'm speechless. I'm locked up. I'm prepared for every possible rejection in the world. The one thing I was not prepared for was yes. I finally said, okay, I'll pick up at 7. They all start cheering and applauding for me. The moral is, when it comes to the dating game, you can never be too prepared. And number 2, I don't know about you, I'm going to start treating my wife better because I don't ever want to get back to the dating pool again. Mr.